Formula One fans, Toto Wolff has officially lost his patience, and team orders at Mercedes could come at any moment. The battle between Russell and Antonelli in Canada came dangerously close to disaster on more than one occasion. And when Wolff says team orders are on the table, you better believe they're coming. The last time two Mercedes drivers went wheel to wheel without any restrictions, their names were Rosberg and Hamilton. And that story ended with the Barcelona crash of 2016, which permanently changed the team's internal policy. Now, history is threatening to repeat itself. Except this time, one of the protagonists is 19 years old, has 4 consecutive wins, and holds a 43-point lead, while the other just threw his headrest onto the Montreal asphalt in frustration. If you don't want to miss a single Formula One update, drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel to stay in the loop. Let's get straight into the detailed breakdown. For 30 laps, Russell and Antonelli fought side by side around the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, with the lead constantly changing hands. Two Mercedes cars running inches apart at insane speeds, with strong gusts of wind turning every single corner into a gamble. On lap 6, Antonelli came within a whisker of hitting the rear of Russell's car after locking up under braking. At the final chicane, the Italian made contact with his teammates' wheels and was pushed off track while running side by side. In Saturday's sprint race, Antonelli was forced onto the grass at turns 1 and 8 in the very same lap, after a series of aggressive moves by Russell, handing Norris a gift into second place. And then it all ended on lap 30 with a battery failure that simply switched Russell's car off without warning, leaving Antonelli free to take his 4th consecutive victory. Russell himself admitted he hadn't experienced a battle that intense in years, comparing it to Hamilton versus Rosberg in Bahrain back in 2014. Wolff's reaction after the race made it crystal clear just how sensitive the situation has become inside the Silver Arrows garage. He said it's always easy to look back and say the battle was great for the team and for the sport, but there's another side to this coin that needs careful analysis. He openly talked about the moments of real danger, about Antonelli's lockup that could have turned into a double retirement, and he made it clear the risk wasn't about aggressive driving, but simply about a mistake made right at the limit. But the most significant strategic detail is genuinely alarming. When the two drivers were running in clean air behind each other, Mercedes was half a second quicker than everyone behind them. But every time Russell and Antonelli were fighting each other, they were losing up to a full second to the cars chasing them. With the new energy regulations, drivers burned through precious battery deployment during overtakes and defensive moves. Wolff admitted that in Canada the margin was large enough to allow the battle, but he made it very clear this won't always be the case. In future races, if Mercedes doesn't have a sufficient advantage over the rest of the field, team orders will come into play. Nobody inside Mercedes wanted to look Russell in the eye after Canada. Not Wolff, not the mechanics, not Antonelli himself. Because everyone in that garage knew exactly what had just happened. It wasn't just a retirement. It was the moment the championship started slipping out of the British driver's hands. Russell's words after the race sounded less like confidence and more like resignation. Right now, the title is his, and he can only lose it. It feels like the gods don't want me in this fight. That is a heavy statement to make in the Formula One paddock, because once doubt enters a championship battle, it spreads fast. In China, a qualifying issue cost him pole position. In Japan, a poorly timed safety car handed the advantage straight to Antonelli. And in Canada, while leading the race, his car just died. 3 out of 5 races with something going seriously wrong. Russell tried to hold on to something positive, pointing to sprint pole, sprint win, qualifying pole, and the fact that he was leading when he stopped. He said he was proud of his weekend. The problem is, Formula One doesn't reward effort, it rewards results. History won't remember that Russell was quick. It will remember that Antonelli won again. The explosive question is unavoidable. Who gets sacrificed when team orders arrive? Russell, the experienced British driver with years at the top, or Antonelli, the Italian teenager who is rewriting the history books? The answer already seems written in the numbers. 131 points against 88, 4 consecutive wins, the first driver in history to win his first 4 Grands Prix in a row. When the math speaks that clearly, team orders only point in one direction, and Russell knows it. The frustration on display in Montreal tells a story that goes far beyond a mechanical failure. The headrest thrown onto the track, the gloves slammed down, the devastated expression next to a dead car on the side of the road. These are not the reactions of a driver disappointed by a retirement. These are the reactions of a man who can feel the championship slipping away, who knows that every race lost makes his worst nightmare more likely, becoming the support act for a 19-year-old inside his own team. Wolff also called out both drivers for repeatedly trying to get each other penalized over the radio. He said showing emotion is fine, but the focus needs to be on driving. Translated from Wolff's diplomatic language, the drivers were basically told to stop complaining and get on with it. The matter was dealt with internally, but the tension remains extremely high. What should scare Russell most is how Antonelli is handling all of this. After the race, he showed remarkable maturity, expressing genuine sympathy for his teammate and calling the battle fun, adding that it was a shame Russell had to retire because it would have been an incredible fight to the end. But he also sent a subtle message that did not go unnoticed in the paddock. Ferrari, Red Bull, and McLaren are definitely coming back, and Mercedes needs to keep pushing. Words of a leader, words of a champion, words that at 19 years old carry enormous weight inside the team's internal balance. Antonelli doesn't look nervous. If anything, he looks more at home with every passing weekend. Aggressive, sharp, and completely fearless. The pressure is making him stronger while Russell slowly bends under the weight. A paddock insider compared his growth to Oscar Piastri's leap between his second and third seasons, when Norris suddenly found himself under immense pressure at McLaren. And that comparison carries a warning. Sometimes the younger driver improves so quickly that by the time the more experienced teammate realizes what's happening, it's already too late. If Antonelli is already this strong after just 5 races, what happens when he irons out the last few small mistakes he's still making? Monaco in 2 weeks is the next chapter of this Cold War, one that could turn very hot at any moment. A circuit where the wall is the only judge and where confidence counts more than raw pace. Wolff will have to decide whether to let his drivers race freely or pull the handbrake before the situation explodes like it did in 2016. The balance inside Mercedes could break at any point because history always teaches the same lesson. Prost and Senna at McLaren, Hamilton and Rosberg at Mercedes. The script repeats itself and the ending is never painless. All of Formula One is watching with bated breath. This game is far from over,